Week 6 of the NFL season is here, and an interstate matchup between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins is being moved across the Atlantic Ocean over to the UK in a 9:30 a.m. matchup. So as with every preview video that I do for this channel, I bring on a YouTuber from the opposing team to kind of break down their side of things. And this week I have Doug from the Dougly Do Wrong YouTube channel to kind of help us out and tell us a little bit more about what is going on with the Miami Dolphins.
What is up, UCF Jaguar? Thank you so much for having me on the channel, bud. I greatly appreciate it. The Miami Dolphins heading to London, taking on those Jacksonville Jaguars. Give you a little insight on the Miami Dolphins, being that I am a Miami Dolphin YouTuber, Dougly Do Wrong, if you don't know who I am. The Miami Dolphins hopefully are getting Tua Tagovailoa back this week. He was designated to come off the IR. They are giving him, they are practicing him this week, trying to see his pain threshold, his motion, all that stuff with the fractured ribs. It has been 4 weeks since he fractured his ribs. So hopefully he is a go, because if it is Jacoby Brissett, then I am not as confident as I would be if it is Tua Tagovailoa, because Jacoby Brissett over the past 4 weeks, to me, besides last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, has been one of the reasons why the Dolphins lost, especially against the Raiders and the Colts, missing wide open touchdowns and all that stuff. But you guys should know that, because you face the Colts twice a year when he was their starting quarterback. Then there's also the all offensive line. Big jump in production last week with the shift to putting Austin Jackson at right guard, putting the second-round pick Liam Eichenberg at left tackle. Will they keep Jesse Davis at right tackle, the guy who got Tua Tagovailoa's ribs fractured? I hope not. We'll see how that pans out, but they did play much better against a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that has a very good front in Jason Pierre-Paul, in Ndamukong Suh, and just a very good front defense. So they did play better. Wasn't as many sacks, but that is that. Also, some guys, keep an eye out. Myles Gaskin. He wasn't used much against the Indianapolis Colts. It seems like the Dolphins were very worried about the offensive line, so they put in Malcolm Brown more to stay in to help pass block. But last week, Gaskin got his touches. He got his 2 touchdown passes. That is the thing that is most dangerous about Myles Gaskin, is get him in the open field, get him the ball. He's very elusive, very speedy. Also, don't forget about Javon Ahmed, our backup. But we really don't have a starter and a backup when it comes to our running back rotation. Malcolm Brown, Javon Ahmed, and Myles Gaskin. It's like whoever's the hot hand is going to go. So prepare for all 3 of them. And then when you look at banged up, Devontae Parker did not practice. Neither did Xavier Howard, as me recording this on Wednesday. I'm hoping, Xavier Howard is dealing with a groin injury and Devontae Parker's dealing with a hamstring injury. They are both deep tissue injuries. I'm hoping they do bounce back and they do play on Sunday. But there is a possibility that the Miami Dolphins don't have either of them, which means Nick Needham will probably go to the opposite side. Might see some Noah Benogany. And if that is the case, that is not a good case, and Trevor Lawrence is going to have a big day. And the last thing I will talk about is this Miami Dolphin defense, because for the Raiders-Colts game, even a little bit of the Bills game, the Miami Dolphin defense was actually better than people, perceive them to be, or their stats are saying them to be. Against the Bills, they shut the Bills down for a quarter and a half, but then again, the Dolphins offense couldn't score. Same thing with the Raiders. They did really well at shutting them down, but then the Dolphins offense couldn't move the ball. Same thing with the Colts. Shut them down. And then all of a sudden, the Dolphins drop a punt, offsides, giving them better field advantage. So if the Dolphins should just pull their heads out of their butts and get that defense back to what it was in 2020, it's extremely formidable. Again, I don't know if Xavier Howard is going to play. Again, me recording this on Wednesday, I can't give you a definite he's in, he's out situation. But Jalen Phillips is really starting to come into his all, really starting to be disruptive, get pressure on the quarterback, get in the backfield. They're starting to use him more. Keep an eye out on him. Emmanuel Ogbah kind of disappeared. He is on a contract year. We'll see if he steps it up on the second half of the year. And then Javon Holland, our rookie first safety taken in the draft, our first second-round pick, really disruptive in the backfield, making big hits all over the place. Keep an eye out for him. But looking at this game, Dolphins Jaguars, this is a game that both teams need to win. And I said this about the Colts game, and it ended up being the Colts that won that game. But if the Dolphins lose this game, this is the game that will tell me if the Dolphins season is over or not. Because no offense to the Jaguars, you guys are dealing with a lot over there from your head coach, seeming like he's not interested in coaching football, to you guys are banged up as well, trading some corners, doing all the stuff you're doing. So this seems like a game the Dolphins should win, and the Dolphins better win on my end of the spectrum. But I think it's not going to be a blowout. I don't think this game is going to be a blowout, and I could see the Dolphins pulling this off. Maybe a 28-17 Dolphins win. I think it'll be a nice 10-point lead, be able to relax. And if it's not, and the Dolphins lose, well, come check out my channel because I'm going to be mad. But again, UCF Jags, thank you so much for having me stop by, and I look forward to having you on my channel very soon.
So huge shout out to Doug for coming on here and breaking down the Dolphins side of things. And now from my perspective, man, a lot of times when your team is bad, I know from my viewpoint, I don't really look around the NFL much and really pay attention to records all that closely as if I kind of were in the run of it. But it kind of surprised me because last Sunday I looked down and I realized the Miami Dolphins are 1-4. They were kind of a team with a lot of expectations, and that's probably one of the most surprising, I guess, them and the Colts about really their record when I look at it. But they come into this game needing a win. And this matchup is all too familiar with the matchup on Thursday Night Football last season with the Jaguars and Dolphins. I remember the Jaguars were kind of going into the game. They were 1-1. They had beat two potential playoff teams and they had played two teams that turned out to go into the playoffs with the Colts that they won, and then the Titans that they lost a close one to. And then the Dolphins were kind of coming into the game a mess. They were 0-2. They had not really been playing good football. And a lot of Jaguar fans were pretty confident that we were going to win, including Vegas. Vegas actually had the Jaguars favored that game. And now going into this game, the Dolphins obviously 1-4. The expectations are not meeting reality over there, and there's a lot of Jaguar fans actually predicting a victory, as well as some experts are over here predicting a victory. And the Jaguars obviously got pretty much blown out last year at this game. And then really from week 3 onto the rest of the season, I literally rooted for the Jaguars to lose every game so we could obviously get our quarterback with Trevor Lawrence. And the Dolphins it looks like they are going to be getting Tua Tagovailoa back, which is probably a big reason why they haven't really been living up to expectations, was because their whole entire offense is formulated around that quarterback, and they did not have that quarterback. And, obviously Jacoby Brissett kind of came in there and did Jacoby Brissett things. There's a reason why, the Colts kind of moved on from him. We all saw him play for the Colts, and they always tried to kind of replace him. So he probably will not be playing this Sunday, and I'm interested to see Tua. I've never actually seen a full Tua Tagovailoa game. I know he gets criticized a lot. One reason is because obviously the big egg on their face where they drafted him over Justin Herbert, which we can't really make fun of that too much, because if we go through the Jaguars draft history, all the players that we drafted over potential future stars, obviously the list goes on. So I'm not gonna clown him for that. I'll let the rest of the NFL kind of do that, as well as the AFC East. So obviously he's going to be coming back this game, so I am interested in kind of seeing how he plays. But the Dolphins, this is obviously a must-win for the Dolphins. I don't think it's necessarily as much of a must-win for the Jaguars, just because we're not really going anywhere. But from a team standpoint, from a confidence standpoint, from a fan base standpoint, 20 in a row, we are so desperate to get a win. And if we could get a win, get on the right track, I think the person that needs to win the most is probably Urban Meyer. I don't know what his future on the team is. I don't know. I mean, there's a very good possibility that, if he leaves mid-season, it might be after this game. You know what I mean? Obviously, Urban Meyer has not looked like he's super into the Jaguars right now. If he is committed, if he does want to stay, I say let him play it out. I made a point like that in my most recent video. I don't think he's going to be the coach next year, but I just don't see the point in firing him right now. I think if anything, He has to realize, are you into it? Are you not into it? Are you in or are you out? And if he's out, let him walk. And, I guess we'll move on to what a some other underqualified guy to kind of lead our team the rest of the way. So obviously he needs a win. The whole entire Jaguars need a win. So with this game, I'm not going to predict the win this game. Obviously, I went out on a limb and I was like literally predicting the Jaguars lose like every single game until the Titans game because I felt a victory coming. But this game just reminds me too much of last year. And it's just, if there's any game, any get-right game for any team, it's going to be against the Jaguars. That was the Titans get-right game. And I don't know. Dolphins are obviously pretty talented, but hey, their offensive line isn't that great. Maybe we can go in there and get some pressure. The Jaguars got pressure last game, but it was like a millisecond too late as it seemed like Tannehill kept getting the ball off. Hopefully we can kind of get it on Tua, and hopefully he has kind of a rough game back. But this is going to be a fun matchup. I am definitely going to be live streaming this one, so definitely check me out. And really for the Jaguars to win this game, we just got to keep pounding the rock with James Robinson, man. I mean, it's amazing when you come after every single game and like James Robinson is currently 4th in the NFL in rushing yards, and he's doing that on kind of limited carries. I don't know why. Like, he is obviously the strength of this offense, and the offensive line strength is really run blocking, and really just his lack of being able to, achieve negative plays. It's amazing with James Robinson. And then he had over 100 yards in the first half, and they go back to him like 4 or 5 times in the second half. Like, it's unbelievable. We had to get James Robinson, continue to pound the rock with him because he deserves it, and the team deserves it. If the team wants to win, that's a huge key to doing it. And obviously, he had really a huge breakout game last year against the Dolphins. I think he had like 2 or 3 touchdown runs. So it's just keep pounding the rock with James Robinson. I do want to keep seeing Trevor Lawrence play well. I mean, he's been incredible these last 2 weeks. I mean, it sucks because we got pretty much blown out by the Titans last game, and Trevor Lawrence played one of his best games. He didn't have a turnover until like the last, throw where he kind of throw it into the end zone and kind of hope for something. But yeah, keep Trevor Lawrence going. Find ways to get your main playmakers the ball. I mean, Marvin Jones had 1 reception last game. Laviska Shenault had 1 reception last game, and it went for like, 60, 70 yards, and he had like 5 broken tackles. I mean, it was an unreal run, and just a lot of things had to happen. The defense continue to find ways to get pressure, continue to scheme ways where you don't have to, I don't know, when it comes to the cornerback play, it kind of is what it is at this point. I mean, I would keep the other guy in instead of Chris Claybrooks. I forget his name, but number 21 that came in for Chris Claybrooks. I thought it was an obvious improvement from there. And yeah, it's just a get-right game. I mean, the talent is what it is, but the coaching is obviously very controllable. And, it seems like we have decent game plans the first half, and in the second half it kind of crumbles once the game kind of gets into it. And then at the end of the day, we lose by like double-digit points. So I don't know. I don't think the Jaguars win this game. I'm hoping they kind of keep it close. And, man, please get a victory. We need it so bad before a bye week. So, with all that said, that's kind of all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching. Also, big shout-out to Dougly Do Wrong for coming on here and breaking down his side of things. And with all that said, subscribe to the channel. Drop a like for me if you guys can. I'm going to put Dougly Do Wrong's descriptions all down below. Subscribe to his channel. Drop a Duval in his comment section. Let him know that we are proud Jaguar fans, and I'll also be over on his channel doing a video with him as well, so go check that out. And with all that said, thank you guys for watching. Go Jags. You guys watched the whole video. Really appreciate that. You guys can subscribe to the channel for the best source of Jaguars news on the YouTube platform. Also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at UCF_Jaguar. And you can become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month for exclusive channel content. Thank you guys, and go Jags.